Hey everybody, this is Beelit, and I wanted to do a small little thing about the balance of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I talked a little bit about this in my review slash first impressions video, but I really wanted to talk a little bit more about it. But before we get into that, I actually want to make sure that if you have a PlayStation, that you have gotten this beta and that you are playing it. It is available to anyone. Before it was only available for PlayStation Plus subscribers, but now it is available to everyone. So if you have a PlayStation 3 and you are connected to the internet through the PlayStation, you need to get this. Pause the video right now, go to the PlayStation Store, download it, or start downloading it, then come back to the video. Okay, now that you're here, let's go ahead and start. Now, one of the big things that I think needs to be said about my recommendations is that they came from a 2v2 setting. In the free-for-all game, things play out much differently, and I think the reason for that is because there are so many people that a lot of these things aren't really noticed as much because everyone's trying to kill everyone. And so there's not a lot of pauses, there's not a lot of safety anywhere at any time. And people have to attack. You know, they have to be active or else they can't do what they need to do because they're fighting against 3 other people. In a 2v2 setting, things are a little bit more forgiving. You have a little bit more, you have more room to breathe, I guess you could say. You have a little bit more ability to get away, to set up the kinds of fights that you want to set up. You've got a lot more freedom in what you can do and how you can use your character when in a free-for-all setting. Let's say Kratos, you know, when he's attacking someone, obviously he's going to be very vulnerable as he's attacking someone. Well, not very vulnerable, but he's going to be more vulnerable in a free-for-all than he would be in a 2v2 match. I think we can all agree on that. Kratos has a lot of attacks that hit behind him, and so that's why I said that he's not going to be incredibly vulnerable, but you know, he will be vulnerable. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Kratos. A lot of people, when they first get into the game, they say, holy crap, this Kratos is ridiculous. And he is. Kratos is very easy to use and very effective for his ease of usability. One of the biggest things that I think Kratos needs to have done to him is to kind of tone down his forward square attack. It is ridiculous, and you will see it used many times in this gameplay and in the following gameplay from Kratos players, and there's really not much that can be done about it by some other characters. I think one of the big things that should happen to the forward square attack is that it should not be allowed to hit airborne targets, and I think that its range needs to be slightly lowered. Now, what my proposed balance would do is prevent this forward square attack from ending all aggression toward Kratos. I at least want Kratos players to have to use different moves, but this forward square attack is so insanely good that there's not a lot of reason to use much else. It ends aggression towards Kratos very easily, and Kratos has a lot of other ways to do it, but people don't even have to use those other ways because the forward square attack is just so good. So I really want Kratos players to actually have to do a little bit more than they're forced to do now. There are a lot of Kratos players who do use a lot of his other tools and don't use the forward square so much, but the deal is they need to be forced to not be to use those other things and not, you know, just be legitimate. You know, they have to be forced to be legitimate. I think that's really how you can balance something, is by forcing everyone to play it in a legitimate fashion. So another thing that I would kind of like done to Kratos is that he can't block. Now, why I would want him to not be able to block is pretty simple. He's very good. He's got a lot of range on his attacks, on his normal attacks, not just his forward square, but he's got a lot of range on a lot of his attacks. So why is it fair that he can outrange a lot of other melee characters? Plus, he can block, he can dodge, he has all these other tools as well. So I think that he needs to be I think that it would benefit him, and it would also benefit the game for him to not be able to block. Now this is why it would be able to benefit him. The character, Kratos' character, is not known for being terribly defensive. He is known for being aggressive. He is known for moving around, being very in your face. And when you think of Kratos fighting, do you think of him standing still very often? No. If you played the God of War games, you want to be attacking and you want to be moving and attacking. You want to be dodging attacks. So I think that removing his ability to guard and force players to roll and to dodge more would be really good, not just for the game, but also for the character. It would make him feel a lot more like Kratos. Another thing that I kind of wanted to acknowledge is Radek. When people first get the game, they typically say, man, Kratos is overpowered. And then once they start playing it a little bit more, they say, wow, Radek is overpowered too. And for the most part, yes, I feel like that is very accurate. One of the deals with Radek that I think would be really beneficial to kind of tone down is his ability to roll. That gets him out of so many situations where he doesn't even have to utilize his other abilities. And that's one of the big things that I want to do in my proposed balance, is just make people have to do a little bit more if they want to have the desired results. Don't give them this one-size-fits-all answer when other characters don't have that one-size-fits-all answer. You know, just make things fair. I think that Radek's role should be toned down a little bit, because in a 2v2 setting, you know when your opponent's coming towards you. You know that they have to come towards you. So you have plenty of time to set up for this. You have plenty of time to anticipate these things. Radek already has the ability to set up all these different things. Then he also has the role on top of it, and the role is just so much. It's just so good that I really think it needs to be toned down a bit. Not a lot of characters can punish this role. Kratos could have a legitimate way to punish it with his forward square, which even if the range was toned down a little bit, it would still be just as effective. And also, since I propose it only affect people on the ground, then it would be very good for punishing rolls. Kratos can do it. I think Parappa would have a pretty good chance of punishing rolls, but characters like Sly, Fat Princess, or Sweet Tooth are a little lacking in that area. Now, I use Sly a lot. The opportunities to punish a Radek roll would probably come from the forward triangle attack. That would probably be the best opportunity to punish a Radek roll. But what the forward triangle does is send the opponent to the other side of the map anyway. So you're not really doing that much about it. You're just kind of making the issue a little bit harder, actually. Or you could attempt a level 1 super. The reward is pretty good, but the risks are very high as well. If your opponent's rolling a lot, chances are you're not going to have a lot of opportunity to hit them. So if they're already showing that they can avoid you pretty easily and they know how to avoid you, you don't really want to be taking chances with throwing out meter like that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of other characters I don't think have anywhere near that ability to punish a Radek rolling. So I really think that's something that should be addressed. And in a 2v2 setting, these problems really come out and you really actually see them, whereas you wouldn't so much in a free-for-all setting because there's just so much chaos in a free-for-all setting and everyone's trying to hit each other. So there's a lot more opportunity to be punished for things that really aren't even that punishable in the first place. But it's punishable because there are more people out there. So those are things that I would talk about. Let me know if you guys think that any of those balance changes would be good. Let me know if you have your own ideas about it. If you like the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would support it by liking it, favoriting it, whatever you choose to do. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Get ready to be rocked.